Hey guys, so I understand we have some really cool learning tools to talk about this week. I'm going to go first, but just remember that don't try to screen share because it's kind of been acting a little funky, so just try to talk about your tool the best that you can. And I mean, I know you guys know them really well, so we'll do our best to understand it, but I have faith that you guys will be able to talk about them. So my first learning tool is Zaption. Pretty much it's just an online video-based website, and it has a bunch of videos, tons and tons of videos. You can filter these videos out with a topic. So let's say you're a social studies teacher and you want to learn about the Civil War. You can go on the Zaption, filter out videos that just talk about the Civil War, and you can either find pre-made learning tours or you can make your own learning tour. And what a learning tour is, it's just an interactive video that as you watch it, you can answer questions. So you can make your own or you can use someone else's. With this being said, you know your students the best, so I think that it would be best if you made your own learning tour because you really know what content you want the students to focus on the most. However, being able to share your learning tour and get ideas from other teachers is really helpful because that does create a learning community, and we all learn best via collaboration, so I think that's a really cool feature of Zaption. So as I said before, Zaption is just a really engaging video lesson. You can customize it so you can use someone else's learning tour or you can create your own. You can share it, as I said. So if you think that you created a really cool learning tour, then you can share it with other people who are associated with Zaption. You can also track your data, so as soon as your students answer the questions, you'll get automatic feedback. What did they understand? What questions did they get right? What did they not understand? What questions did they get wrong? And I think that's really good for you as a teacher because then you can look back and reflect and say, okay, they really got this content, so we can move on, or maybe we need to go back and talk about this a little bit more. So I think that's probably one of my favorite features about it because, we're always analyzing and always trying to readjust, what we're doing in the classroom to meet our students' needs. Another thing that I really like about Zaption is because it is interactive, I think it provides a really good scaffold for all your students. So whether you have a ELL or a special needs student who might take a little bit more time comprehending a video and answering questions, that allows those students to pause it, go back, rewind, and give them more time to answer questions. But if you also have a gifted and talented student, it won't take them as long, so they can go through it a little bit faster, and you're really differentiating your instruction, and which is important. There's another cool feature that I liked about it. It's free, so Zaption Basic is free. So if you decide that you want to have an interactive classroom, or if you're a fan of the flipped classroom, then you can use Zaption Basic, and you can really engage with your students via the flipped classroom. But that's pretty much Zaption Basic. So do you guys have any questions about it or comments?
Well, I think my teachers in my field placement may use this. If not, it's something extremely similar, and I know they really benefit from it. They pull lessons completely from Zaption or whatever it's called, and it's completely like it fits the students that they need to teach. And then also I know they've created their own lessons as a team and shared it with other teachers, and I mean teachers from California can view it and use it in their classroom, which I think is really cool. Like it connects the other side of the country all the way to Maryland, which I think is something special.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I like the aspect that there's like teachers from other schools working together so that you're not just disconnected because you work at a different school, but you are actually doing the same lessons, the same everything.
I have a question. You said that like as you're watching the video you can answer questions. Do the questions like appear on the screen with the video?
Yeah, they do. And with these, it might like do a little like you'll get to a certain part and then it'll pause and the question will appear. So, like I said, if you have a student that might not really be understanding the material, it might take them a little bit longer, then they can go back and rewatch the video to see if they can pinpoint where that question is, so they can build a better understanding.
That makes sense.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's like a really good alternative to like worksheets or handouts, because not only are they like seeing the questions as the movie or the video goes on, like so they know where to get the answer from, it also pauses it so like they can answer it without missing anything else, which I like a lot.
Exactly. Alyssa, do you have any cool tools to talk about?
Yeah, I learned about Spritz this week, and I knew I had heard about it before, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was. So to start off, I'm going to talk about the science behind it. Basically, Spritz uses the optimal recognition point, and that just means where your eye is drawn in a word as you read. So in Spritz, what it is, it's a little box that appears on a website, and you download it, and it can appear on emails, e-texts, just regular websites. It's not supported by social media yet, but they're working on it. And it takes all the words on a page, and it shows each word individually by itself, like one at a time. And each word, there's a letter highlighted in red, and it's always in the same position on the screen. So if the letter O in go is right here, the next word, if it's dog, then that optimal recognition point will be in the same spot. So it helps students read faster and more efficiently. Basically, the benefit to it is it reduces unnecessary eye movement. So instead of reading left to right on a page, you just stare at one spot, and you can kind of toggle how fast it goes. So you can go, I think if I remember correctly, you can start at like 250 words per minute, and you can go all the way up to 750 words per minute. So for each student, it could be different, and they can, I think what's cool about it is like the students in my field placement could see this as like a challenge, and I think that would get them excited. Like they want to read at a faster words per minute than they did last week, all while increasing their reading fluency, because the whole point of the optimal recognition point is that you will understand the word in the context without actually having to look at an entire paragraph or page. So I know it's kind of hard to envision without actually seeing it, but do you have any questions about it?
I don't have any questions, but I definitely agree. I think that would be really cool, because in my field placement, students look at tests. They don't really see them as tests. They see them more as challenges, and can I beat myself? Can I beat what I did last week? So I think that would be a really awesome tool to incorporate into your classroom if you want to promote intrinsic learning. So yeah. I think that's
definitely.
Yeah. I even like the competition aspect. I wonder if you could even have kids work against each other or with each other to get a better score, or to just do it. Because I know I work with fourth graders, and they love when they have to compete. It gives them something to work for. So I think that's cool to put it in that.
Yeah, and like that, it wasn't even the point of Spritz for competition, but when I was looking at it, that was almost the first thing that came to my mind. Not only that they would be increasing their reading fluency and improving it, but that, like, I don't know, if I would do this every week, I would want to improve my words per minute. I would want to read faster, and that's kind of something that I can see, like, elementary students really enjoying.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, I really like that. I think it's a good idea, and it'll really help with the fluency. The only thing I think might be like the only downside to it is maybe like if you're focusing so much on like getting faster that it might like lower your comprehension level. I don't know if that's just me.
No, that's a great point, because like I tried it out myself, and I read about 500 words per minute comfortably, but if I turn it up to 700 words per minute, I don't really see all the words because it's too fast for me. It's very individual based. Like Kelly could be 500 words per minute, Justina could be 700, and I could be 600. So Justina's not going to be able to read at my level, and vice versa. Like it's very individual for that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the typing test that we took when we you were younger.
Yeah.
You know, you would just sit there and you would type how fast and how accurate it could be.
Exactly. All right, Nora, so what tool did you research this week?
It's called Book Wizard, and it's a program through Scholastic Books. And basically what it is you can find books based on grade level or based on like a similar book, or you can do it by Lexile. And what you do is you can search a book by title or author or anything, and it can give you I can't screen share. But you can access book talks or lesson plans or videos or discussion guides or pretty much anything, but they don't provide all of that for every book. So, for example, I searched for, it's called Officer Buckle and Gloria. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it was one of my favorites as a kid. And what it does is it gives you like the grade level, it gives you like the genre, all the different themes, it gives you a summary, and some of the books have free teaching resources. So for this one, you can it gives you extension activities and a discussion guide. So I think this is really helpful for teachers because you know what books you can purchase based on what grade level or reading level your students are at, and also obviously it provides you with different activities and things you can use. So yeah.
Does it come in any other languages at all? Do you know?
I don't think it like will give you the same books in another language, but like if there's a book that's like a Scholastic book that's written in Spanish already, like you can find that on there. But I don't think it gives you like any book that's in another language. Yeah.
So you say it has pre-made materials, so does it have lessons and things like that?
Some of them do. It all depends on the book. Like, you can search for anything, and some of them will have not necessarily lessons, but they can have like discussion guides or worksheets, and some do have lessons to go with it. But it all just depends on the book, really.
Okay, that's really cool.
I like the fact that you can kind of browse, if you want to say, before you buy a book, because maybe if like you really are looking for like a lot of content to go with the book and you search for it and it doesn't have all of that, like maybe you can kind of refocus and pick a different book that has more resources. Just because I know like we do have a budget as teachers, and sometimes we have to most of the time we have to put our own money into it, and we have to be resourceful with the money we have. So like I wouldn't want to buy a book that I know has nothing to go with it versus a book that has several lessons and just like stuff to enhance the lesson.
Yeah,
exactly. It can save you time.
Mhm.
Kelly, did you have any tools that you looked at?
Yeah, I actually had one that kind of reminds me of the UDL thing that we had done, where we went through our lesson plan and then it gave us kind of steps or things to be mindful of. So it's called the CAST Science Writer, and CAST is in all capitals. And it's basically when students are writing reports, so just science reports. And it has the drafting, the revising, and editing. So when you first log on, you will see that the page has everything that's incorporated into the site. So the first things that come up are these 3 little characters, and they're actually Max, which I think is a dog, and that one, if you click on it, it will talk to you about examples that you can do for your science, and then you can click on Sam, and he's going to show you how to make it. And then the last one is Echo the Gecko, and Echo the Gecko just repeats the directions for you, or if you can't read it and it's hard to read, we'll go ahead and do that. One thing I didn't like about those 3 characters were that they actually don't sound like characters, they sound like a computer, so I think kids would be really off-put by them. They're hard to hear. And then you have the option to have the report broken down for you. So if you're comfortable with just writing your science report and doing everything on your own, that's fine. But there is the option of having it broken down, so you can have a sentence starter for how you want to say something. You can have things question that maybe you could give more input on. So it really guides you, and it's not just it sits there and you don't look at it. You click on it when you need it, so it's on your level. There's a revise and edit section, so there's a checklist. And the checklist will go in and it'll check for your content and your grammar, which is nice because I think on a lot of computers they'll just kind of go through it and you never realize it on a science report. You're never really thinking about your content or your grammar, but it's actually really important. And then one thing that I think is actually really cool is that they have definitions and the translations are actually in the toolbar. So if you're going through and you can't remember a word, or you're writing a word, or you see one that you don't understand, or you need spoken, it will go ahead and do that either in the character or it will put a little blurb for you to read. So again, it is in the UDL format. Then they have another section, because it's a whole process, it's called the journal. And the journal is where you can take notes or you can make the text to speech, so it's a direct translation of what you're writing. So this is all very much like the UDL. I really like it. I think that it would be useful for not necessarily younger students, but maybe for either 4th and 5th grade who are transitioning into middle school, or definitely middle schoolers, and show them the process, because I think a lot of times you end up getting there and you're writing a science report, but the format of writing a science report is so different than writing an essay or a letter. It's very dependent on what you actually need. So this way, you again are being reminded of what you need or to dig deeper, which I think is cool. And you don't need your teacher to stand by you and show you that this is what you need. You're able to just click on something and it shows you exactly what you need.
I think do you think that it would be good for English language learners, Kelly?
Yeah, I like it. I think that the concept of it is really cool because they can rehear all the directions. They can listen to it. However, again, with the characters' voices, it would make it difficult to actually hear what they're saying, or to understand it, because we talk very differently from how a computer talks.
Exactly, yeah. I think that I could see maybe this being used in my classroom. You know, they are younger, but we do have 17 kids that do speak a different language. It's usually Spanish, Haitian, Creole, French, things like that. So anything that could really help them with, you know, scaffolding or differentiating instruction, it seems like this could be really useful.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, I like this. I really like the fact that everything is like laid out for you. Just because I mean, it does make teachers' lives a little bit easier, but I like the fact that students can start to learn to be on their own and think for themselves while still having the necessary tools to thrive. Because, I mean, once you get to like the upper grades, it's going to be a lot more independent, and we as teachers, we need to know how to help, but not over-help. That way the students know how to independently work and do it correctly as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, one thing is that I'm in 4th grade at my field placement, and there's a science teacher that comes in, but he can only do so much. He can only stay for 30 minutes. So it would be kind of cool to have them in there and using the CAS Science Rater after it's done. So they're using technology, they're using STEM, which has technology in it, and they're really preparing themselves for upper levels.
Yeah.
I think, Justina, you had one more that you wanted to talk about?
I do. This one, it kind of confused me at first, to be honest. I actually had to go to YouTube to kind of understand a little bit more about it. So that kind of put me off a little bit, but as I, you know, kind of understand and did my own research outside of just going to their website, I actually think that I would like this and I would recommend it, but you guys can make your own decisions, you know, once you hear about it. So this tool is called Paper.ly. It is a tool to create your own newspaper. So I thought that was really cool because I could see this being a really authentic lesson that you can incorporate. So Paper.ly gives you access to articles, blogs, and rich media content. They actually automatically process more than 250 million social media posts each day. So that's a lot each day. They extract and analyze over 25 million articles each day too. So when you can go through and you can automatically find content on any subject, or quickly find your own sources, so you can filter it. You could go to, let's say you want to talk about social media in your newspaper. So you can go to Twitter, and then you can filter the tweet from that day and see, okay, who all was talking about social media that day, and then you can add it to your list of sources. So that will help, strengthen the credibility of your newspaper article. So after you do that, you can customize the look and feel of your newspaper, so you can make it look, the way you want it. There isn't really a set, layout. It's all up to you. It's kind of like our Wix website, where it gives you a template, but you really don't have to use it. You can just customize it yourself. With your newspaper, you can actually create your own advertising and generate your own revenue. So I could see this being a whole unit in a classroom. They could, create their own newspaper. What do they want to talk about? Do they want to sell anything? Do they want to gain followers? I think that would be a really cool experience for them, because that is, it's a real world, job. So I think that is, something that is really awesome. So, you can grow your audience in business. You can have it set so you can send out daily reminders about, let's say you want your viewers to see your newspaper every day. You can send them notifications on that day. You can do it twice a day, you can do it weekly, and you can do it monthly. So your followers automatically know when the next newspaper is up and ready to be viewed. You can also create your own newsletters, and you can add it to a blog, a website, anything. So let's say you just want to you have a blog you want to talk about, and you see you're using Paper.li, you can add that to your blog and show your viewers, hey, I made this really cool thing, and I think it's worth sharing. So as I said, it has scheduled updates. You can have viewers subscribe. You can bookmark your sources. You can tweet new info. You can embed it into websites. So you can embed it in, we could embed one into our Wix website. As I said, you can customize the look and feel, and then much like Zaption, you can get usage stats. So you can track how many visits you're getting per day, how many subscribers do you have, how many are you gaining, how many are you losing. So Paper.li is really just this interactive website where you can create a newspaper and you can share it with other viewers. So like I said, I could really see this becoming a whole unit, but I'm not too sure how often it could be used, if that makes sense. I could see it being used, but I'm not sure how often. I'm thinking maybe we could, create a class newspaper and maybe send a subscription, notify, or our audience could be the parents or the school or, other schools in the county. So I think that could be one way. Do you guys have any questions or suggestions on how else this could be used?
I have a question. To me, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, to me it seems like it seems more advanced, it seems like for older kids.
It is.
What grade level do you think?
I mean, I guess it all just depends on your students. If you think your students, for the younger kids, I would say, you would be the publisher, and the editor. However, they could be in charge of the little blurb. So honestly, I could see it being used in any grade. However, it's just a matter of how much leeway are you going to give your students with this, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it would be really cool in a classroom setting to maybe assign 2 or 3 students, and they can each have a part of the newspaper. Somebody could have an advice column, somebody could have the weather, somebody could have sports, and that way maybe you could visit it either weekly or every 2 weeks, and then have the students you can have a set time where this is what you work on, and you can compile like you said, a class newspaper. And I really like the idea of sending it out to parents or the school. Mm-hmm. And it could even be a school-wide thing, or maybe even just a grade level thing where my 5th grade class sends it to your 5th grade class, and we can read all of the newspapers that grade has created.
I agree. I like your suggestion where you were saying how, at one week, one student could work on like sports, and another week, students could work on like current events. And I think that would be really cool because then they're also exposed to different types of genres. So, they're becoming more versatile writers as well.
Definitely.
Kelly, you were gonna say
I think
something?
you could like include different like content areas, like subjects. Like obviously it would be very language arts based with the whole writing process, but you could like I remember when I was in 8th grade, we did a newspaper for history, and we had to look up certain events in history and write a newspaper that was like from 1831 or something. And that way you could like hit science, you could hit social studies. Like the possibilities are sort of endless with the whole newspaper.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, even with that, like Alyssa, I was thinking the same thing. You could do a topic. So for the week for the younger kids, it could be a jungle theme. So they have their advice column on how to escape from a lion. Like they make it really specific to that week, and they get to use all the information that they learned in science and social studies. So you can make it a specific thing and make it weekly, and I think they would look forward to it because especially for the younger kids, they always want to do what the older kids are doing. They want to be on social media. They want to be part of that. So giving them that opportunity, I think they would take full force on that, be really excited about it, and write really great stuff.
Yeah.
I agree. Do you guys have any more questions or comments?
Nope.
All right, well, I think that we came up with some really cool tools to talk about this week. I think this week was actually my favorite. I know we all had some technical difficulties in the beginning, but I like that, we really worked through that, and we were able to collaboratively discuss different ideas and topics. So I look forward to our next talk, and I'll see you guys then.
Bye.
Bye.